Chucklivinlarge! It's the famous hat! Ah! Yeah!
Hey everybody, Chucklivinlarge here. I want to go over a couple of the things that I really learned when I was on the trail with regard to gear and stuff. I will have a detailed gear list that I will go over that'll be very much similar to the very first video that I put out. Some of it will be things that you know and love and that worked out fine, and other things will be little tweaks that I've done along the way. But a couple of things I wanted to talk about today, just because I had all my gear spread out all over the place, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to kick out a video and let everybody know what's going on. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go over the things that worked well for me and things that did not work well for me. And I got it all laid out here in front of me, so I'm just going to go over it real quick. Okay, first off, you guys may have known that I wore these Ultra Superior 4.5s. I really enjoyed wearing them. I think they were really, really great. But I'm not going to wear them for my second one out, and here's why. In less than 100 miles, I burned out the backs of the heels on these bad boys. Now, they were very comfortable. They dried fast. They did not get my feet excessively wet in the variety of circumstances I was in. I just simply are burning through them really fast, and that's not good. One thing that I will tell you, if you are using a set of these that I found out that worked pretty well, is on the cloth that you have right up here on the toes and stuff, if you apply some Snow Seal, is that right side up? Snow Seal to that, it'll make them a little bit more waterproof. They're not waterproof, but they certainly will help out, and it can't hurt. And I did that. It worked out great for me. Also, other types of waterproofing that you can use is you got this Phoebing's Aussie leather stuff that's really, really great. I use it all the time, not necessarily on these shoes, but it's very similar to the Snow Seal. It could work similar for you. Instead of carrying this big can of Snow Seal, what you could do is just take some of it out and put it in a little baggie, carry it with you. That's what I did. And that way you could apply it on the fly if you wanted to. And additionally, in terms of waterproof stuff, I've got this spray-on water guard seal, which doesn't hurt. You know, you can apply it to some of the things that you may want to make a little bit more resilient with regard to waterproofing. A great product. So, talking about my shoes, what am I going to do? Well, I got these bad boys. I got these Gore-Tex Hoka hikers that I'm going to wear. I talked to one guy out on the trail extensively about his, and he really loved them. I have personally owned 6 or 7 pairs of Hokas. I've never owned a hiking pair. All of mine have been running shoes that I've used for running. I know them to be resilient, very, very light, and also have a ton of cushioning. They also have a large toe box, which allows your toes to expand when you're stepping down, which is an awesome thing, very similar to the Ultras. You know, they have the Ultra has the cut that's like your foot, and the Hokas do as well. You can see how wide that toe box is. So I'm looking forward to use these. For me, I do use a custom orthotic that I got from work that was custom made for my foot. And so I just put them inside, and I'll be using them. As with you guys, which most of you do, I use the Injinji socks along with the Darn Toughs. I didn't really have any I have like one small hot spot, no blisters, no nothing in the time I was hiking. That's up and down hills. Didn't lose any toenails or anything like that. So they were, the shoes were really, really good, except for their durability. That was the only issue. And I wish Ultra could fix that, because they are fine shoes. They really, really are super comfortable and everything you need. It's just that you just don't need to be buying a new pair every 10 minutes. Now, I was talking to one shoe salesman that said it could have been my weight plus my pack I was too heavy for the shoes or whatever. Whatever, you know, make your shoes tougher so we'll like them. Okay, cool. That's all on the shoes. Next, you all know that most of the stuff that I'm talking about now has to do with hiking in extremely cold weather, which is what I was doing. Most of the time it was around 20 degrees or something like that. Lower sometimes, a little higher sometimes, but that's about it. One thing that I always had found that I had to do was sleep with my electronics. I had to sleep with my cell phone, I had to sleep with my battery bank, I had to sleep with my AirPods or whatever other types of battery stuff that I had. Otherwise, a severe cold would suck all the juice out of them quite quickly. Now, when you've got these things inside your sleeping bag with you, you know, you can toss around, and there is the chance that you could potentially break the screen on your cell phone. So I noticed that. I did not break my screen, but I did break the little protector that goes on it. So I got nervous about that. So I went out and I bought on Amazon these neoprene sleeves, and I've got my battery bank in one and my phone goes in the other one. They do provide some protection for the phone inside my sleeping bag or whatever. And also too, that does apply them a little thermal protection. Now granted, you're giving up a little bit of weight because the neoprene does weigh a little thing, but I think the protection that it's going to provide my cell phone is well worth the thing. These were very cheap. I got two, the pack that I bought had two of these in, one for each one. Something you might want to think about. Gas for your stove. I found that at high altitudes, Mighty Blue told me, he goes, you're going to burn more gas at high altitudes, and that is absolutely the truth. So you want to have a very efficient stove that burns well at altitude so you're not wasting excess gas. If you're going to be going in extremely cold temperatures, as I was, I would recommend that you carry an extra thing of gas. That way you don't ever want to get caught short, okay? So anyway, you're going to burn extra gas at high altitudes. Here's a neat trick a nutritionist taught me. This little pack right here, it's got just regular table salt in it. You put a pinch in every container of water that you've got and you drink it, it'll keep you from having to pee so much. And the water will replace some of the salt. I mean, the salt will replace some of the salt that you're losing from the sweat. But anyway, it's not a lot. You ain't got to make your water taste like seawater. Just put a pinch in there. And you really can't even tell it that much. But it'll save you from having to go to the bathroom as much. And that's really convenient at night, you know, if you have to get up in the cold when it's 15 degrees outside, you know, so something you may want to think about. Next thing, Tyvek Cloth. Tyvek Cloth, I know I talked about it before, is using it as a ground cloth or using it as a protection under my air mattress if I'm sleeping in a shelter or some other place. Yes, sir, and how? This stuff is great. This piece that I have, I think is probably around 5.5 feet by, I don't know, 5.5 feet by something else. Bottom line is a little bit too small. So what I ordered was, I ordered a 9x9 sheet because you can use it for a variety of things. All of those things that I said before, if it gets extremely cold at night, you can actually, if you're laying on your mattress, on your sleeping bag, you can take it and fold it over yourself and that'll buy you a couple more degrees of warmth. It does breathe to a degree, but it also blocks wind and rain. Now, with regard to the shelters, most of the shelters out on the trail are 3-sided. If you're staying in a shelter, if you have to weather over for 24 hours there due to weather or whatever, you may not necessarily know, you may not be able to stop. The shelter that you're in may not be oriented in the ideal direction, meaning the storm could be blowing into the shelter. You could use that 9x9 sheet of Tyvek or your sheet of Tyvek to put up a barrier to keep the wind and the snow and the rain and the freezing rain out of the shelter while you're in it. So this is almost like a survival piece of equipment. I've noticed that the more I've used mine, the more it folds and the more soft and supple that it is, but it's great, and I can't say enough about the Tyvek. Tyvek can save your life. Now, maybe save your life. Here's something that I would have never ever brought because I'm not a sissy. But I got out on the trail and one of my buddies said, hey, you want one of my hand warmers? And I was like, no, I don't want one of your hand warmers. I don't need one of your hand warmers. Let me tell you something. Hand warmers are the way to go. And specifically, this particular hand warmer, which you can see that down there in the corner, left-hand corner, it says it lasts for like up to 18 hours. In the morning when you get up, you're severely limited in doing things rapidly that require dexterity because your hands get really, really cold. So what you do is you take one of these 18-hour ones, you crack it open at night. When you get to camp, keep your hands warm while you're cooking dinner, put it in the sleeping bag with you, keep your hands and feet warm all night. Then the next morning, when you get up, you can use it to rewarm your hands quickly when you're doing those tasks that require you to take your gloves off. And then it'll probably still last half the day then into lunchtime. Once it's finished and it doesn't work anymore, you simply tear it open and then dump the contents out on the ground as like sand. And then you can burn the paper in the fire the next night if you're having a fire or whatever. And the plastic, you just carry it out like you do your wrappings for your paper or your toilet paper or whatever else that you carry out and put in the trash. Best place to get these, probably in Tennessee, North Carolina, at a Walmart. I got a bunch of them. They were super cheap. You don't want to get them in an outfitter or any place like that because they'll jack up the cost and probably sell them to you for $1 or $2 or $3 for each one. But if you go to Walmart, you can get them a lot cheaper there, and I'd severely recommend that you do that. It's really, really cheap. They're really awesome. 18 hours. The smaller ones last for up to 10 hours, but these medium-sized ones, which are, I don't know, about 4 inches by 3.5 inches or something, they last for 18 hours. Think about it. They're awesome. Go into the privy. One thing that I found out when I got to the privy, and I looked at the signs on every one of the privies, it says that you can't put wet wipes in the privy. You can only put toilet paper in the privy. Well, toilet paper doesn't work out too well for me, and normally I like to clean myself up a little bit with the wet wipes. So what I did was I just packed my wet wipes out. I don't use a lot of them, but I do use them to clean myself up. For wiping my butt, I use paper towels. I think they work better. I don't throw them in the privy. I either A, pack them out, or 2, throw them in the fire. Throw them in the fire throw them in the fire at the end of the night and burn them up or something like that. The toilet paper is just too flimsy in extremely cold temperatures, and I don't like it. When you're talking about hygiene of your lower parts, not your female lower parts, but your male lower parts, Perel is pretty dang good. You know, you can, and I know I clean my hands with it all the time. That's not all you can clean with this, and it does a pretty good job of keeping some of that feral smelling of yourself that may occur from you being out there. But I just wanted to throw it out there. If females, don't probably not use Perel on your private areas. But anyway, I want to throw that out there. It's usually an uncomfortable subject, but I don't have a problem with it. I'll just throw it out there. Your baby toothpaste that you may have and you carry with you. What you'll find out is if you look into your baby toothpaste when it's brand new, you want to go ahead and open it and pull the little foil thing off so you don't lose the foil out there in the woods, or you don't have to worry about that anymore. But you'll also know that your little thing is not quite full. What you can do though is you can take your other one or your regular toothpaste at home, squeeze it all the way to the top, then take your regular toothpaste from home, put it right there on the end, and fill this bad boy up all the way, which will probably buy you 2 or 3 more days of this and using. I noticed that. That's a pretty good trick. Try that. We all use the smart water bottles with the flip tops. This company, I don't know who they are, it's Body Armor, whatever, I saw it in the store. Their top is a little bit bigger. Now, if you use a Sawyer squeeze, it's not gonna fit this. But if you use like a Katadyn Be Free, like I do, I really like this top because it's pretty good, and I like this bottle. It's got a wider neck. I can fill it up easier, but anyway, I just wanted to throw that one out there for you. On my food, the major things that I'm changing on my food is I'm an oatmeal man in the morning. So I like my oatmeal, and I don't like the instant oatmeal. I like the regular old-fashioned oatmeal, not the expensive red mill kind, but you know, just a fully regular old-fashioned oats is good. And with that, I also put, I showed y'all before, I have a big package of dehydrated blackberries that have been soaked in sugar. I don't really want the extra sugar, but I got them because this big bag was super cheap. Dried blueberries. I just mix them in there, and that's what I eat. It's about 3/4 of a cup. This is my breakfast. Then for lunch, what I do is I eat Gorp, and what Gorp is I've already told y'all, Gorp actually stands for good old raisins and peanuts. I take mine and I make mine my own way with all the nuts that I like. You can also use dehydrated chickpeas or dehydrated soybeans, all different kinds of nuts. The more the merrier. And I put it in there, and then this is what I'll eat during the day as I'm walking on the trail. I generally have a bar or two, you know, whether it's a Cliff bar or some kind of Power Gels or, you know, like one of these bars or something. I'll have 1 or 2 of those as well, but I found that, you know, this much Gorp is pretty much what I eat when I'm walking. I don't really get hungry during the day, and this stuff is like instant fuel. When you're at the bottom of a hill, you throw a handful of this in your mouth and chew it up, you'll find yourself cruising right on up that hill pretty readily. So that's it. Now, at the end of the day, I like a big filling meal. So what I do is I have different types of ramen, and I like Thai ramen, you know, like Tom Kha Ga, and then I've got pho. I like pho too, and it's really good. And what I'll do is I'll spice that up. I'll break it out, put it in this bag, and I'll spice it up with some couscous, maybe a quarter cup of couscous, and then also like a quarter cup of vegetable blend, dried vegetables, which really buffs this up. So when I cook it up, I get a big full meal, fills the belly up, it's super warm, and I sleep well all night with a big full belly. So anyway, that's what it turned out. One thing that I left off that I'm not using anymore is the dried fruits. I like the dried fruits, but the dried fruits are heavy, and also they didn't give me as much energy burst as the Gorp did. I'm telling you, that Gorp is just like throwing coal into a locomotive engine. It really, really works, especially on those cold days. And you can put a lot of chocolate and M&Ms and things like that in there to make it really pleasurable to eat. So anyway, that's the deal with that. Let's see if I have anything else that I want to talk to y'all about. I don't see anything else, but I'm going to do an additive thing to this. I don't know if it'll be on this. It won't be on this particular little pot, this particular cast video that I put out. But on the other ones, I'm going to talk about how the trail's provided for me. And also too, I'm going to do another one on wide angle vision. And I'm going to get those out probably in the next couple of days to supplement me not being on the trail. I'm looking at getting back on the trail around 10 February with my buddies in Subman, and we're gonna take on the rest of North Carolina and also the Smoky Mountains. So that's coming up. Just giving everybody time to heal, do a little rest and refit, and then we're going to get ourselves right back out there. I know I kind of ran long on this this video. I hope it was helpful. I really do appreciate all the subscribers out there that have been subscribing, and I hope the humor that I normally throw out there is pretty funny for you guys, and it's a really pleasure for me to do it for my friends and family. I know that they're getting a kick out of watching me out on the trail. Okay, thanks everybody. More to follow. You guys have a great day.
I speak from pure logic.
Chucklivinlarge out of here.